All right. So was sort of going off there on the Humpy Wheeler deal, but he'll always be remembered as the guy over there at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Whenever there was an event over there at Charlotte, it just felt like something special when Humpy was involved. So if you want to see the rest of that spiel, you can watch attempt number one because I think I pretty much covered what I wanted to cover there before the stream froze. Other point of business I wanted to get to before we jump into the chat and see what you guys want to talk about is Connor Zilisch, from all appearances, is going to start the race and then is probably going to get out of the car, and it looks like Parker Kligerman will be the driver filling in for him there. So I think that is the smart move overall. Gives you a good chance to still win the regular season championship because he will get the points for starting the race. Limits his chances of getting in a wreck and getting further injured. Of course, earlier in the season at Talladega, he was injured in the Talladega deal, and that was a super speedway. This, of course, a super speedway. So you don't want him to take another lick like that, especially with an already broken collarbone. So I think it's an overall good move for Connor Zilisch to just start the race and get out of the car. I think it's going to be the best overall for them and the team. So kudos and good move to them. Also, Quattro has started a fantasy football team for us. We've got the Fantasy Racing League. That's been pretty successful. Fantasy football team, if you want to get involved with that, I have dropped the link right there above in the chat. So there you go. If you want to join the Fantasy Football League, is Yahoo. And Yahoo, however, I don't know how Quattro is going to have it scored. Probably traditional. I don't know. You'll have to take that up with him to get all the details on that. But yes, I will be playing. I am Cool Joe Montana. That is the name of my team over there in fantasy football. So if you want to destroy me in fantasy football, feel free to join the league. I think it is BBFFL. So there you go. BBFFL Glizzy. Let's do it. All right. Let's get into the chat and see what you guys want to talk about. I do have a poll question up. Do have Daytona coming up, and will a non-locked-in playoff driver win Daytona? Yes, is it right now leading the way? No, is just slightly behind, and yes, but it's going to be either Bowman or Reddick, who aren't necessarily locked in, but they're in right now currently on points. So there you go. Those are the options for the poll question, and we'll jump into this and see kind of what you guys want to talk about. If you've got some thoughts about Humpy Wheeler, want to talk about some of the antics he did, maybe the truck jumps or the invasion on the infield when he did that. All kinds of stuff was going on with him back in the day. So whatever you want to talk about, we'll chat about it. Just sort of doing it old school today. We'll just see what you guys want to talk about and see how long it goes, and just see if we need to research stuff. Let's just do an old school OG AMA style. All right, let's see. One wise guy saying, "Oh boy, wise guy indeed. Wise guy out there grilling those baby back ribs," was what he said earlier, I do believe, before we jumped on. Hello again, everyone. Says OJ and Toothpaste. Indeed, OJ is in the house. What's up? Thoughts on the schedule? I didn't think it was earth shattering, but glad NASCAR keeps changing it up. Yeah, I'm glad North Wilkesboro is getting a points-paying race. I'm glad Chicagoland was back. We kind of both knew those things. Dover getting the All-Star race, I don't necessarily hate that. I think a lot of people are hating on that, but I think a lot of people aren't thinking about the fact that Dover is really interesting on the restarts, and you're going to get at least a couple of guaranteed restarts, especially a restart with, like, probably, if they keep a normal format, probably will get a restart with like 20 or 25 to go at Dover. That could get super interesting for an all-star race. So I'm big on it. If I can find time, I think I will attend the Dover all-star race next season, tentatively. Let's see. But yeah, they just sort of tweaked it. I don't think anything earth-shattering about it. I hate it for the Mexico fans, but I think that's because Mexico's getting the World Cup or something like that next year. So that might be why Mexico lost its state. But we'll see going forward. Canadian fans probably bummed out because they didn't get they were looking for the next international race, so maybe those are the two like downsides to it. But other than that, more of a tweak. I agree with you, more of a tweak than anything else. I'm not a real big schedule guy. I'm just kind of like, when the schedule comes out, what races would I like to go to? I never thought about it too much past that. If you're a schedule maker, maybe look at the rain and precipitation and stuff like that in the area, but other than that, YouTube only allows BB live stream 1.5 times a week, says Joseph Wooden. Indeed. I don't know what's going on. The live stream struggles continue, but the horrors persist. But so do I. I believe is the meme. Let's see. Then again, I just thought of Ricky or Josh. It says Tony Crivello. I hope I said that right. Crivello. Good point, Joseph, says Dirty Death. Who will win the O'Reilly's auto parts race in Cup? Yeah, I wonder if they'll do like an O'Reilly's thing that'll eventually get I don't know, annoying, like as fast as Xfinity 10G did. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. OJ and Toothpaste says this weekend, Niners get smoked week 1, says one wise guy. I don't know about that. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Cody Ware will win the Coke Zero 400. That would be like him or Ty Dillon or somebody that's like super far back in points. Like if they could win the Coke Zero, that would be as good as you could hope for in this particular points scenario, I do believe. I like a new Ford winner. Fords are looking pretty strong there, Dirty Death. I like a new Ford winner, but I couldn't tell you who. RFK. So RFK is another good one. FRM are always fast at Dega and Daytona. Yeah, good point. So like when I was looking at the statistics from J-Ski, and I did how J-Ski does their average, not J-Ski, I'm sorry, driveraverages.com, how they do their average rating or whatever. Joey Logano, a Ford, is at a 96. Austin Cindric at a 90.6. Both of those guys have won, but the next Ford on the list, and just the next person in the list, period, at a 89 is Chris Buescher. Hasn't won a race yet. He could be an RFK guy that locks in. Next Ford driver on that list, Eric Amarola, skip over Harvick, skip down to Ryan Blaney. He's already won, but then Brad Keselowski over here at 81. So 81 for Brad Keselowski, looking strong for the Ford camp here. You got Keselowski, Blaney, Buescher, Cindric, and Logano. And then you've got Eric Amarola and Harvick, who have retired, but were Ford drivers as well. So it's lining up to be a good Ford track for the Ford drivers. If you're looking for a non-Ford driver, Kyle Busch here at an 86.4, looking really good in the Chevrolet camp. And if you're looking in the Toyota camp, Bubba Wallace going to be your strongest effort out of the Toyota camp at an 84.8, having a heck of a season this year, so can't count him out. Next driver, regardless of make on that list, would be Chase Elliott at an 80.2, Christopher Bell at an 80.1, and everybody else is below the 80s there for this one. So there you go. Looking like a Ford track, but those are your other drivers not in blue ovals that could get this win. As Daytona, it's a super speedway. Anything, of course, can happen, though. I think it's time for Kyle Busch to become rowdy and get the win, says Jeremy Bones Holder. Yeah, this could be a Kyle Busch track. I said it. Look, Austin Dillon got the win last week. There's a good chance that Kyle Busch pulls this win out of his hat, because eventually, law of averages, he's going to get another win, in my opinion. So we will see how that all plays out and unfolds this weekend. Looking forward to it. What's your favorite humpy stunt, says one wise guy? Not necessarily for the stunt itself, but because of the story behind it. He hired that guy to jump the bus, and that guy oversold himself and had to have a stiff drink of something to pull off the feet. And it was the only time he ever jumped the bus, and the only time he would ever jump a bus again. I forget the guy's name, but it was a great story behind it. Like, he basically said, yeah, I can do it. Then he actually got hired, and he was like, dang, now I've got to do it. So that was probably the bus jump is probably my favorite stunt. And he didn't stick the landing. Well, so if you want to pull that up on YouTube to see that, it was probably my favorite one. He was okay, but he needed liquid courage to pull it off. He was no Evel Knievel. Did you get the 87 Zilich Red Bull diecast delivery? It hasn't been delivered, but I did order it, so it should be here whenever yours gets to you. What's up, BB? Kyle Busch finally gets his win at Daytona, says Josh Benton. So there you go. Kyle Busch is a popular pick to get the win. Right now, 67% saying that it will be a person that hasn't won a race yet this year that is not locked into the playoffs. Happy to see Chicago back, says Jeremy. Yeah, I think Chicago coming back is going to be super popular. I think a lot of people like that they did the Chicago street race, but I think even the people that like they did the Chicago street race wanted Chicagoland back. So I think that there's an overall good feeling that NASCAR is back in Chicago, and they're doing it at an oval next time and not necessarily a street course, at least for the foreseeable future. People have complained about 400 laps at Dover. Well, now they have their wish, says Dirty Death. There you go. There you go. That's what I'm thinking it could be. Like Dover in a shootout scenario, I kind of like it. So I think that's going to put on some pretty good racing for sure. Thoughts on Nashville in the news again? I just don't know if they'll ever get it done. I just don't know if it's ever going to get done at that particular track. It just seems to be so many things in the way. I hope they can get it done at the Nashville short track, but for the foreseeable future, it's going to be at the Nashville Speedway. So at least Nashville has a race. It's not necessarily the racetrack that the drivers want to be at, but it is going to be all good because they do at least have a race. So it could be a worse situation. PC Gone Rogue, what's up, my friend? Always good to see you on here, my dude. Weather in your hood? Weather's good today. Weather's good so far, so should be all right. Just either a YouTube glitch or I don't know. Sometimes the satellite internet drops too, so it could be one or the other. But usually it's a YouTube glitch because usually my internet is running pretty good. But you never know. You never know. I'm not I'm not a satellite internet expert. Street racing sucks in every racing series. Why would NASCAR take the trucks to St. Pete? Says Escobar. Oh, I don't know. Just trying something different would be my guess. Yeah, I don't know. I guess they're just trying to get a different feel for for a street racing. NASCAR saw something about street racing they like with Chicago and with Mexico, so probably just for the foreseeable future, there's going to be street racing. I don't know how many they're going to do, but NASCAR has seen something with street racing that they really, really like. And it seems to, I get probably what NASCAR likes about it is it's probably resonating with a younger demographic, would be my guess. It's probably not for, traditional NASCAR fans and stuff like that, but it's probably resonating with a younger fan base. And that's probably, if I had to just taking a wild guess, that's probably why NASCAR is so gung-ho on street racing. Which I think they can balance that out nicely. Like, okay, you get a street race over here, we get a North Wilkesboro points race back. As long as NASCAR balances it like that, I think it'll end up being okay. Did I mention, have you ever been to Dover? And if so, what's it like? I've never been to Dover. It is on my list of tracks I want to go to. Last race that Kyle Petty won a race at, last track that Kyle Petty won a race at. So it is on the list. And All-Star would be a good way to check that one off, I think. Did I mention this on Tuesday's last stream? But I got an RCR sweep. An absolute dog named Austin Hill wins Friday night, and Austin Dillon wins Daytona Saturday. But my backup choice is Kyle Busch. So there you go. In between the lanes, going all RCR on the weekend. I like it. Good, strong picks in both series. Hard to bet against Austin Hill at a super speedway in the Xfinity Series. Do you think Reddick and Bowman advance into the round of 16, says OJ and Toothpaste? I think one of them will. I don't know which one of them will, but I do think we get a different winner. So if I had to take a guess, and if it was my vote, I would vote in the poll yes, which 72% so far have voted that way too, that we are going to get a different winner, and one of those guys is going to get bumped out. But I think one of them will get in, one of them will get bumped out. Probably Reddick will transfer points-wise, but if he gets wrecked early or something bad happens early, he could possibly miss it, which would be crazy. Last year's regular season champion to this year, possibly, not even possibly, but this year he's on the cut line, essentially, if somebody wins. Rockingham is asking the state of and county to pay a $300,000 bill for the safer barriers the track needs to pay for that before they can have a NASCAR race. Anybody else heard that? Says Art NASCAR. Yeah, I don't know about that whole situation. I mean, I know it's already installed, so I guess they just need to pay the bill. It would be because they had the truck race there, right? So I guess the bill just needs to be paid. And yeah, I don't know. That's a weird situation. I don't know the financial situations of that. I hadn't heard that one. So maybe I need to go take a look at that one before they move forward. Yeah, maybe that's one of the holdups of somebody buying it. I do think NASCAR or Marcus Smith is going to buy that track, though. I think it's already pretty much locked in. One of those two entities is probably going to buy that track, and you're probably going to see Rockingham continue onward in the Cup Series because Ben Kennedy Jr. Seemed very gung-ho on Rockingham being a track in the future as well. NASCAR wanted road courses through all three series. St. Pete, says one wise guy. So there you go. NASCAR wants more road courses. Sorry about the typos. I'm right-handed and have to type with my left hand. LOL, says OJ and Toothpaste. OJ and Toothpaste fighting through. He's out of the cast, but he's still fighting through the injury there to his wrist. They said they are looking at doing a tie-in with the like as fast as Xfinity Internet. So maybe they can think of something just as cheesy. Says Dirty Diff. O'Reilly's is pretty cheesy. So maybe that will I don't know. I'm sure they can come up with something. It won't be hard. It won't be hard. It's nothing short in the cheese departments as far as NASCAR slogans and stuff like that go for stuff like that. Thoughts on Trackhouse firing competition director Tony Lunders this week kind of flew under the radar. I don't like it. It seems to be a lot of changes over there at Trackhouse. They have continued to be competitive, but I don't like the fact that they're changing a lot of stuff. But that was a very successful team. Very successful team the past few seasons, but they keep changing a lot of stuff internally. And eventually, if you change enough of that stuff internally, it's going to end up biting you performance-wise. Maybe they're putting the performance on him. Maybe they're trying to hire somebody. I don't know, but he's not the only one. So his firing doesn't bother me. It's the accumulation of firings that have happened, or the accumulation of people moving on recently, that is starting to raise a little bit of concern over there at Trackhouse. It just seems like a whole different entity than it was even 2 years ago. And that's maybe it's for the best, maybe it's not, but it does at least raise some concerns, some alert. Kit Kat run in front of me on Friday night while I was walking, tripped and broke my wrist. Still love her though. Stuff happens, says OJ and Toothpaste. Loves his cat. So there you go. OJ and Toothpaste, even though old Kit Kat got him, he's still his favorite feline companion, pal. Shout outs to Dover, says In Between the Lanes. Indeed. Dover, I think, is a nice track as far as I have gathered thus far. What happened first? Nashville Fairgrounds or Fontana, California, says Joseph Wooten. Fontana, California will get a race probably before the Nashville Fairgrounds, if I had to guess. But I've been wrong before, and this might not be the first time I'm wrong again. Or this won't be the last time I'm wrong again, I should say. Plus, Fox wanted to try the double with Indy and the trucks at St. Pete. So there you go. Fox, looks like Fox is behind the St. Pete effort. They want to do the double there as far as that goes. Humpy is mostly remembered for being a promoter, but the amount of drivers he helped to start their careers is crazy. That's a good point. I meant to bring that up earlier, but I didn't. I told Earnhardt to stop driving dirt and helped him buy Harry Gant's old car. Indeed. He put a lot of people on. He had a really good eye for young talent, and it did benefit him to have good young talent in his races at Charlotte Motor Speedway. So that it did benefit him too, but he did put a lot of people on. Humpy Wheeler was the master at not only helping you, but he was helping you help him. So Humpy Wheeler, just one of the all-timers. And luckily he got inducted into the Hall of Fame, and he knew he was going into the Hall of Fame. Unfortunately, didn't get to see his Hall of Fame, I guess, little section in the Hall of Fame that he would be in, but at least he did know before he left us that he was in the Hall of Fame. So it's kind of posthumous, but not posthumous. So he did at least get to enjoy it. I always like it when the guys get to enjoy it while they're still with us. It's the Russian, because your YouTube stream must be effed up. Says PC Gone Rogue. Way too many road courses in trucks in 2026, says Josh Fenton. Hey, there you go. Maybe it's just too many. The Truck Series doesn't have as many races as the Cup Series. So yeah, when you get more road courses over there, it is a bigger percentage for sure. So I get what you're saying over there as far as that goes. Will Austin Dillon make the Final Four, says OJ and Toothpaste. I'm not going to say he's going to make the Final Four, but I'm not necessarily of the same mind of those people who are like, he's just an immediate first round out. He has made it past the first round before. So I'm not immediately counting him out of the first round like some people are. Fontana has been planned as a multi-condominium, says Tony Crivillo. Yes, but what I meant by Fontana is California will get a race before Nashville. But to be honest with you, I don't think Fontana's getting that race, and I don't think the Nashville Fairgrounds is getting that race either. So really, it's kind of a tie. It's not going to happen technically at either location. So yes, 100% agree with you as far as that goes. Reach up there and pull them belts tight one more time. Daytona, says Chris MV. Indeed, Daytona, last chance to get into the playoffs. It's going to be wild, I think. 100% going to be a super wild race for sure. listen to Sirius XM radio most of the day when I'm at work, and the amount of people from the New York area that called in to complain about Watkins Glen moving was insane. They are not happy. Yeah, apparently it's a weather situation with that one. Hopefully it doesn't hurt the attendance. Watkins Glen has been one of the most well-attended races. It's one of the most beloved races to go to, especially in that area. So hopefully it doesn't hurt it too bad. But yeah, I have heard a few people complain about the way the weather probably will be when they have the race there. NASCAR not coming back to Wisconsin. We have the best road course and the oldest operating racetrack oval, says Robert. Yeah, indeed. So a lot of these tracks with 2 dates that aren't selling out, I've always said, like, if it goes more than 2 or 3 years where you can't sell out both races, take that race away and give it to an area that doesn't have a race. I'm with you. I'm with you, Robert. With the exception of Daytona and Talladega, I do agree with you. How about the trucks going from one road course in 2024 to next year going to 5? I don't mind, but have a feeling folks won't be happy. Yeah, in the Truck Series, it's a much bigger percentage because the Truck Series just doesn't have as many races as the Cup Series. So in that one, it just feels overwhelming as far as that goes. Humpy and others were glad Humpy and others were owners before the France family got total control of most tracks. Circus Ringmasters, says Brickyard Brickhead. Indeed, it's a different landscape from when he was working it until after the fact, and he was very critical after he retired or quit his position in 2008. He was very critical of both NASCAR and Bruton Smith, who ran SMI or whatever. Or whatever it's called, whatever Bruton Smith's version of it is called. I always get those two transposed. Let's see. They hired Todd Meredith last month, who was former JGR competition director. So I don't know if he's come in to make changes. Weird timing right before the playoffs. Yeah, it's another one, man. Right before the playoffs. This is the same situation last year that happened with Ty Norris. Right before the playoffs, Ty Norris left over reasons, allegedly. And so it's just another odd situation over there at Trackhouse right before the playoffs. It just doesn't seem normal, like, you know what I mean? But I don't know, maybe that's just how they go about their business over there. I was at Dover in 2024, says Lanes. Will Carson Voppel race for Penske, says OJ and Toothpaste. That's the big rumor out there. So the big rumor, if you haven't heard it, Carson Voppel is going to race for Penske in the Xfinity Series. Of course, that's big news because that means Penske is bringing back their Xfinity Series program for Carson Voppel. So that'll be interesting to keep track of whether or not that rumor pans out or not. Will SVG win the Roval this year, says OJ and Toothpaste? Hard to bet against him. It's kind of like Austin Hill at a super speedway in Xfinity. Really hard to bet against him. He just always seems to find a way, for sure. So going to be hard to bet against him. So I would say the odds have to be on SVG. I liked the truck race from Circuit Villeneuve, but would love to see that for Cup one day, says Chris MV. Yeah, I think that would be a great track for Cup, for sure. I started to get worried about Harry Gant. I haven't seen him make a public appearance since the Hall of Fame announcement. I just would love to see him give a speech next May. He's probably busy building houses. He's been pretty active in retirement, so I think he's probably okay, but hopefully nothing is wrong for sure. Austin Dillon, awesome for wrecking the 11 and 22 last year. Laughing my butt off, says OJ and Toothpaste. So he liked the Austin Dillon win just for the simple fact that it wrecked 2 guys that he doesn't necessarily care for. Does San Diego count as a race before Nashville, says one wise guy? That is a good question. I don't think it does, even though it gets the race dates. I think it has to be a short track that is at least closer to the vicinity, which they won't get close to Fontana because of real estate prices and what such. But yeah, I don't think either one's going to happen, I guess was probably the best way to say it. But California getting a short track race is probably more likely than Nashville Fairgrounds getting a Cup Series race, just because the people in Nashville are so dead set against it for whatever reason, because they're Nashvillians, I guess. Nashvillans, NASCAR Nashvillans. Let's see. Hopefully they change the course at Lime Rock, hopefully to make the truck a better race. Yeah, I guess I'm not super familiar with Lime Rock, so hopefully it's a good race though. Whether kids are still in school, and a lot of families went to Watkins Glen to go to the lake the same weekend they came out. Now they said no way to get in the water. Okay, so there you go. It's messing up the whole vacation. messing up the whole vacation. Worst mechanic ever brought your car to, says OJ and Toothpaste. Probably with myself back in the day, if I'm being honest about it. We all have to start somewhere. And, you know, when you first start turning wrenches, you're not great at it. I don't think Dylan will, but the good thing about being bad at being a mechanic is if you mess it up, you get plenty more experience to fix more things that you broke. I don't think Dylan will get past the first round. RCR has to get better. If they don't, they're going to be becoming a museum like DEI, says Billy Vose. We'll see. We'll see. There are some other there's some other people in that first round that have been super streaky. So if those guys go through a streak of getting in wrecks and stuff like that, Austin Dillon's usually pretty consistent. Last 2 years he hasn't been, but before that he was super consistent at finishing races. If he can just harness in that mojo, he can probably get past the first round as long as he doesn't wreck. You know, Humpy and Bruton Smith had a falling out not too long before Bruton passed away. Glad to see Marcus embraced him like he did. So yeah, it's I read somewhere in 2020 they made up, him and Bruton, before Bruton passed. They had made up and were able to get everything sorted out back together as far as that goes. What do you think of Bowman's race manipulation comments? Hendrick and other drivers sure are going to help Bowman out at Daytona, says one wise guy. I think it was just a spur of the moment. He was in the seat. He was hot. He was tired. He was irritated. I don't think he really meant they were manipulating the race. I think he was just agitated that there was lapped traffic in front of him, if I had to take a guess at that. FS2 2011 Daytona 500 says in between the lanes. There you go. FS2 has the 2011 Daytona 500. Tune in. Let's see. Will Bowman race the 48 in 2027? I don't know what his contract says, but he's always on the hot seat. So I'm pretty sure he will be. I mean, unless they can get somebody that they think is an absolute stud to replace him with. BB on Thursday, how did we get this lucky? Says like this, like just felt like popping on, man. Humpy, one of the all-timers for sure. Enzo saying rest in peace, Humpy. I remember he used to upload videos to his YouTube channel in a similar format to yours 10 years ago. Yeah, Humpy was he was always out there promoting the sport. He did a great job. He's just one of those dudes that, like, he just felt so much bigger than life. You never expected to see him pass. Like, it's hard to explain. Like, we know everybody's going to pass at some point, but he just felt bigger than life. Like, you never expected anything to happen to him. And to wake up this morning and see that he had left us, that was a bad way to start the day, just to be totally honest. But he got a lot of good years in, and he was just so integral to the part to the sport that I grew up watching, and I always appreciated the effort he put into it. What did you learn shaking down the car today, says one wise guy? We learned that we got to work on it some more. It was a disappointing day at South Boston. Not disappointing with the speed of the car, just disappointed that it needs a lot more work before we go race with it. So we won't be racing at South Boston this week. Will Cindric race the number 2 for the rest of his career, 2035? Oh, that's a good question. Like that's the question that is begged over there with the rumor. It'll really hinge on the Carson Voppel rumor. They're gonna, if they get Carson Voppel, which driver is he replacing? Obviously, a lot of people would point the finger and say that Austin Cindric would be the driver on the hot seat. So that would be my concern if I'm an Austin Cindric fan. As far as that goes, is Voppel next in line to replace Cindric? How did you learn to work on cars? I work by just working on them. I can do a couple things, but it's like a foreign language to me. A lot of respect for people that can do that type of work. I don't know. I just started working on my own stuff, and then obviously got involved with a race team, and I learned a whole lot more that way as well. Race cars way easier to work on than normal cars. So two totally different universes as far as repairing stuff. Let's see. How about a thumbs up for BB, everybody, says Perry Earl. Appreciate it. Yeah, if you want to drop a thumbs up down there, it would be much appreciated. That's awesome that they made up, says Dirty Duff. Indeed. 2020, so I think right before Bruton left us, they made up. MGM saying thumbs up for me. Appreciate you, MGM. A track I always wish Cup Series went to was USA Speedway in Lakeland, Florida. I always enjoyed the ASA races there. Yeah, Florida's got a lot of good tracks other than Daytona. It's interesting. It would be an interesting place to do like a clash or whatever, like sort of how they're doing at Bowman Gray. I think Five Flags. There's a lot of speedways in Florida that could possibly host an event like that. With Dover being the closest track to me, love we are getting the All-Star race, but I'm afraid the track may go away soon. Says like this, like yeah, I hope it doesn't. I hope it doesn't. Dover's a great track, so I hope they keep it around. Byron clinches and I tie for first in fantasy at Richmond. Good week, says Say Kyle. There you go. There you go. Say Kyle getting a share of that win. So he does have a fantasy win this season in the league. Dale Earnhardt operating Truckosaurus. Genius move. Dude, I forgot all about Truckosaurus, but Truckosaurus was awesome. And the fact that Dale Earnhardt Sr. Was operating it at one point, that is cool as well. Shaw, what's up, my man? Have they released Bubba's paint scheme yet? It's supposed to be a good one, says one wise guy. I haven't seen it yet, but I know I think the STP one for Darlington for Petty is the last one I've seen. I'll pull up some paint schemes here. We'll definitely do that on the pre-race for the Daytona deal. I feel like Cindric makes to the round of 8 and he stays a couple years. Says Enzo, yeah, that's probably going to be like if Austin Cindric can make it to the round of 8, that's certainly going to beef up his resume and help him out quite a bit. I agree with you on that. What driver that raced in bad equipment in Cup would have done great in JGR HMS type equipment? Ward Burton. I think Ward Burton is the first one. Anybody that went to Bill Davis, so like Ward Burton, Scott Wimmer, I think both of them would have been really well served to be in like JGR HMS type equipment. Dave Blaney. Dave Blaney's another one. I would have loved to have seen him in some good equipment for most of his career. Those are the ones that sort of jumped to my mind first for some reason. Scott Riggs. Scott Riggs was really good that 1 year with Ray Evernham. Not his rookie year, but the year after that. Basically the 1 year he was at Evernham, he had some really good finishes or some really good speed. If he could have been in good equipment for an extended period of time, I would have liked to have seen what he could have done. Who's another guy? Just never really got in great equipment. Dick Trickle, if he had come earlier and got in great equipment, I think he could have lit up some numbers. 100%. Dick Trickle would be one of them. This is going to sound crazy because everybody remembers Mark Martin as like this guy that was winning all the time. But and hear me out. No offense to Roush Racing. Mark Martin built Roush Racing. But if Mark Martin could have been at a Hendrick Motorsports early in his career and didn't have to be the guy that was the cornerstone that built Roush Racing, Mark Martin probably has 60 or 70 wins. Easy. So Mark Martin, it sounds crazy, but Mark Martin would be another one. 100%. Just so many. I'm gonna leave it off there because I'm gonna miss somebody and I don't want to miss anybody. I probably already missed a whole bunch of people, but yeah, there's a great number of drivers. Let me know down below though. Let me know down below if there's like a driver I missed that you were thinking about. Let's see, where was I at here? Thumbs up says Lanes. They've ruined the current cars, way too dependent on computers. Yeah, computer simulation and stuff like that. But you can't put that genie back in the box. Like we're at where we're at with it right now. Yeah, engineers ruin everything. That's a t-shirt. Hoping for some neon, says one wise guy. So some neon colors on the 23. We've seen that before. He's had some good Columbia schemes if you like neons as far as that goes. You guys think SVG has set a new bar for the rest of the guys? Yeah, for sure on road courses. Clearly, Gen 7 car can perform just fine without the extra horsepower on a road course for sure. And I think that's pretty much where it should be shining 100% all the time anyway. Will there be any more drivers changes in Cup that we don't see coming? Depends on how that lawsuit plays out, to be honest with you, Dirty Def. That's going to be the interesting part. Are you going to play NASCAR 25? I don't have a console or a console that would handle that game. I've got like a super old Xbox. Yeah, probably not. Escobar saying Kenny Wallace. Yeah, maybe Kenny Wallace gets some wins if he's with a better team, for sure. I think he was with Bill Davis, too. So he's another one from the Bill Davis camp. The Red Bull, Brian Vickers, he was at Hendrick too early. If he could have gotten there later, I think as the situation played out, unfortunate how he got the ride, but glad he got to race at Hendrick. But if he had gotten to Hendrick later in his career as opposed to early in his career, I think that would have been something to see, because I think he was a better driver when he was at Red Bull and Michael Waltrip Racing than he was when he was ever at Hendrick. So it would have been interesting to see his career reversed as far as that goes. Let's see. Neon and Sparkles says Crystal Sparkles. Were you watching the 2000 Daytona 500 live? I did watch it live for sure. If we don't see it coming, how would we know? Speaking of Mark, did you see the buzz about Mark Martin possibly driving an Xfinity Series race? He's long said that he's retired, so I'm guessing it's going to be a Mark Martin Winn-Dixie throwback car, but that's just my guess on that. Ward Burton was the first driver I ever liked. I think he was too loyal to Bill Davis, says Billy. Yeah, especially if you listen to Bill Davis when he went on the Dale Jr. podcast and the way Bill Davis trashed Ward Burton. He was definitely way too loyal to Bill Davis. I don't get what the rub was from Bill Davis on that one. So hopefully one day Ward clears the air out about that one. He said he would, but then he's kept quiet about it ever since. Race Hell, praise Dale, RCR is alive and well. AD in the 3, come on, KFB, says like this, like, I like it. Hey, BB, go Niners. Indeed, 49ers, championship. Mark it down. Count it. It's happening. Mark and Jeff battling as teammates would have been awesome. Ray Evernham may have even made sure Mark had just an air in his tires too. Say Kyle. Yeah, indeed. They say Mark Martin was a natural back in the day. Said he would jump in the car and have the quickest time right off the bat. Says Larry Duff. Yeah, he was a heck of a wheelman. He could work on them too. Like, he understood the car. Like, he was equal parts crew chief and driver in that car for sure. The yellow Kodak with Sterling Marlin was my guy when I was little, says one wise guy. Yeah, just a yellow Kodak car, no matter who was in it. That was an iconic car back in the day. Sorry, BB, I meant retail cars have become way too dependent on computers. Harder to find people that can work on them. Oh, yeah, for sure. I think a big difference with old school drivers, and some just love to race at the top level with or for friends. Winning wasn't the goal necessarily. They just love being there and doing it. Yeah, for sure. Your JD McDuffie's, Dave Marcus's, guys like that, the last of the independents. Robbie Gordon, really the last throwback to that, in my opinion. Did on about Roush's grooming techniques, held several drivers back, but Cat in the Hat was still a favorite of mine, says Brickyard Brickhead. Yeah, for sure. Thoughts on Matt Crafton? My only thoughts on him is I wonder if he ever gets into the Hall of Fame. 3 Truck Series championships. Maybe he gets into the Hall of Fame, even though he didn't drive in the Cup Series. I think that'll be an interesting one to track, because I feel like he's like right there on the line. I don't know if he gets in or not. He's already on the West Coast Hall of Fame, though, so he is in at least one Hall of Fame for his efforts. Seahawks rule, 49ers drool, says one wise guy. The Colts suck too, says OJ and Toothpaste. Reed Sorensen says so yeah, there you go. Reed Sorensen. Yeah, like that's another list. You could look at the guys that went to Chip Ganassi. And Chip Ganassi had some good years and some bad years, but they were never an elite team. So they I don't know that they the drivers that were there probably could have had a lot more wins elsewhere. And that's nothing against Chip Ganassi. They just weren't a Hendrick. That's all. I guess that's all I'm trying to get at there. Crystal Sparkles saying the Sea Roosters, LOL. Mark Martin said he remembers all the old setups for every track to this day. I don't doubt that one bit. He was definitely an integral part of those setups and an integral part of building Roush Racing to what it became. There's no... Basically, Mark Martin's contribution, everybody's like, Mark Martin never won a championship. He's got a bunch of IROC championships. But there's no Matt Kenseth championship without Mark Martin. So the Matt Kenseth championship is like an assist to Mark Martin, because he's the one that elevated that program to that level back when Roush took over the world before they got rid of the Twisted Sisters. Mark Martin has always said the reason he was so good in the Busch Series and IROC is the lack of horsepower in those cars. Can you imagine him in today's Cup car? Yeah, he'd probably be eating them alive. They say Mark Martin and Rusty Wallace were coming out of ASA were so good because they could drive, but also knew so much about the setup of the car. 100%. And Dick Trickle was also a guy that put a lot of those guys in ASA rides and helped them learn a lot of stuff too. So shout out to him for that as well. Odd on NASCAR. repoing the charters, and if it happens, where do you think those charters go? I think it's a posturing move from NASCAR. I don't think they're actually going to sell those charters or get rid of them, but if they do, it'll be interesting. Hate to be that guy, but Cody gets the win, says Nachos. There you go. Cody Ware, according to Nachos, says, go ahead and lock it in. Cody Ware getting the win. I'm your downstairs neighbor. Can you turn down the volume of the music? I hope we can be friendly neighbors, says Miss Daisy Duck. Does Martin's setups relate to today's cars, though? Not today's cars. Nothing relates to today's cars. Think of that. Matt Craftsman deserves a Hall of Fame. Matt Crafton deserves a Hall of Fame, says Billy. For sure. I think he's got a good chance of getting in there. I definitely recommend checking out the Kenny Conversation with Austin Dillon. It just came out. It's taken me a while, but I've started to like AD. I think AD is really good. NASCAR is our off-season entertainment, says Shy. Yeah, it's going to be lit if it actually goes to trial, for sure. Let's see here. They're previewing it for us now, says Shy. Mark Martin is one of those drivers who don't need a championship to become legendary. Indeed, he's the people's champ. I've always said that. Mark Martin is without a doubt the people's champ. No question. Yeah, even just his comments on Twitter, like everybody loves Mark Martin. He's like the dude. Final results of the poll question. Will a non-locked-in playoff driver win Daytona? 75% saying yes, 25% saying no, 0% saying yes, but it's Bowman or Reddick. So nobody picking Bowman or Reddick to win this one. Interesting. All right. I appreciate y'all hanging out. And until the next one, I'm telling you, if NASCAR takes the charters, Front Row becomes a Dodge team. Says like this, like that would be the ultimate. What if Front Row and 2311 become the Dodge teams after they get their charters taken, and NASCAR gives Dodge free charters and they get free charters back anyway? That would be the ultimate. All right. That's all I got for you on this one. We'll hang out next time. Until then, peace.